Hi everybody, welcome back to Charlene Eats Clean. I'm Charlene, eating clean. Today I'm going to do a dessert that is not paleo because it has flour in it, and flour has gluten, and you know paleo is gluten-free. But the dessert is vegan. It's a vegan dessert. And I've got a few followers out there who like vegan foods, and so guess what? This one is for you. Let's get started. So today we're doing a dessert called the WAcKy cake, and the ingredients are a little bit different from normal cakes. There's no egg in the cake, no milk, and no butter. Let's get started, shall we? So today we will need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We will need a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of baking cocoa powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and today I'm using kosher salt, 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, a tablespoon of white vinegar, a teaspoon of vanilla, a cup of cold water, and if you want to use it, I'm including chocolate chips and walnuts later on. And at the very end, I'm going to top it with confectioner's sugar. You don't have to use those 3 ingredients if you don't want to. You can leave them totally out. Let's get started. So I don't know if you remember this from home economics, but when I was in high school, we took home economics class, and my teacher always taught us that when we're doing flour, we should level off the flour. You remember that? So we're supposed to level the flour off with a butter knife. So that's what I'm doing here. Just 1 cup. And I need a 1/2 cup. Do the same thing with the 1/2 cup. So this is all-purpose flour. I'm doing 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now we need a cup of sugar. A cup of granulated sugar. Now we need 3 tablespoons of baking cocoa powder. 1, 2, and 3. We need a teaspoon of baking soda. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to whisk this together. I make this cake a lot and give it away as birthday presents. Like my neighbor down the street had a 50th birthday. I saw the 50 balloons hanging up, flying in the wind outside. So I went down, I came home, I said, you know what, I'm baking my WAcKy cake. So I baked him a cake, and I took it down the street, gave it to his wife, and they liked it. I make it a lot, and I don't tell people that it's vegan. I just say, okay, do you eat chocolate? Are you allergic to chocolate, or are you allergic to nuts? Because if so, that's what's in it. If not, have at it. All right, so this is all we need for the dry ingredients. Now, we need to make 3 wells. You heard me right, wells, W-E-L-L-S, in our dry ingredients. And I always use a measuring device. So 3 wells in our dry ingredients here. In one of the wells, we will add a tablespoon of white vinegar. In another well, we will add a teaspoon of vanilla. And in our last well, we're going to add a 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. We're going to take a cup of cold water and slowly pour the cold water over the entire mix, and then whisk everything together until it is smooth. It'll be a thin batter. So for those of you who don't know, I have a bachelor's in chemistry. And so this is like geek moment for me. I'm like such a geek when it comes to baking because I love baking. It's nothing but a science. And I just love to see the reaction. Look at this. That's why it's called WAcKy cake, because it's a batter. We don't have any butter. We don't have any eggs. It's super vegan for my vegans out there. So you'll love it. Doesn't have any eggs, doesn't have any butter. Come on, guys. You'll love it. I want you to try it too. Now, if you don't want chocolate, you can certainly leave the chocolate out and just add a teaspoon and a half of vanilla. And you'll have a vanilla wacky cake. So, you know, I like chocolate, but guess what? I don't like chocolate unless I have nuts in it. Yeah, I'm so weird like that. I don't like just plain chocolate. So that's why I add nuts to my wacky cake. And here it is. There it is. That's all it is. You can stop now, or you can do what I'm about to do. Take it to the next level. So just so you know, I've already preheated the oven to 350, and I have greased a pan, 8x8 cake pan. So I grabbed a handful of walnuts, and I didn't measure it. I just grabbed a handful because I like nuts. And so even if it calls for a certain amount, I'm going to put more in it anyway. So I grabbed a handful of walnuts, and I'm going to crush them in my mini chopper here. I'm going to add the nuts, and I'm going to add some chocolate chips. I don't like my chocolate unless it has nuts in it. So there you have it. I'm going to put about a handful of chocolate chips in the batter. As I said, you can make this a vanilla wacky cake by leaving out the cocoa powder. And you don't even have to add this extra ingredient of chocolate chips. If you don't want it, you can put in sprinkles. You know, you don't have to put anything at all. Like I said, you could have stopped right before I added the chocolate chips and the walnuts. So it's done. I'm going to pour it into the prepared pan. I've already greased the pan, 8x8 pan, and you can use whatever fat of your choice to grease it with. Of course, you know I like to use the coconut spray, but you can use whatever fat you choose to coat your pan, and then pop it in the oven. In 30 to 35 minutes, you'll have a vegan dessert. I want all my vegan friends out there to try this. I'm putting it in an aluminum pan because I plan to give it away. I think I said to you earlier that a lot of times I make these and I give them to people for their birthday. Well, there's a friend of mine in town who's vegan, so I'm going to make it and give it away. I'm going to pop it in the oven at 350, and I'll see you in 30 to 35 minutes. You know how people say you shouldn't lick the bowl because there are raw eggs in the dough or the batter? This doesn't have any raw eggs. So I'm just going to taste it just a little. And I found some little crushed nuts in here too, so it'll be the nuts and the batter. Y'all know. Okay, our cake is ready. And as I said, you can stop at this point too if you want to. I am going to let mine cool for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to dust it all over with some confectioner sugar. See you in 15. Okay, here we have it, the chocolate wacky cake, vegan style. And what I'm going to do, I have lined my counter here with some wax paper because it's going to get messy. I'm about to pour some powdered sugar in my sifter, strainer, whatever you want to use. I'm using a regular strainer, and I'm just going to make a mess, a big mess, because I'm about to sprinkle this powdered sugar all over this cake, like so. Make it snow, make it snow. I know it looks like a lot, but you want to put it on thick because the cake will absorb some of the powdered sugar. And there you have it, the chocolate vegan wacky cake with chocolate chips, walnuts, and sprinkled with powdered sugar. I'm not cutting it because I'm going to give it away. So I've already tasted the batter. It's yummy.
Well, that's all for today. I'm Charlene saying always eat clean. And hello to all my vegans out there. I hope you try this wacky cake and I hope you love it. Don't forget to like, share, and always subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.